Yo, today we have a book insight of The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clayson. Now, first things first, I want to clap out for myself because I did prepare for this video. I read through the contents that I read and I wrote some notes beforehand. And I remember reading this book like 3 to 4 years ago and being introduced again to that classical writing style, like, for example, As a Man Thinketh or The Art of War. Those sort of classical books where the writing can be hard to understand, so you need some sort of modern English of that version. But this is a book about basically about a man, and the author uses the story of a man who invests a small amount of money each year and eventually becomes one of the wealthiest men in Babylon. And the author argues that even small amounts of money can grow over time if they are invested wisely and allowed to compound. Now, I'm reading from the notes, of course, you can tell. This book teaches valuable concepts and lessons in wealth building through like small, simple, but powerful methods. And so this book is really about how to kind of use money, how to save money, and how to kind of build your money. Now, the book in 3 sentences. I say 3 sentences, but I have to go through, there's at least 4 pages we're going to go through. Save at least 10% of everything you earn and do not confuse necessary expenses with your desires. A very, very important concept to understand is the difference between what's necessary, what you need, and what you desire, what you want. If you can understand the difference between the two and maneuver each one accordingly, you will achieve so much more in life. Believe in me, so you will. So saving 10% of what you earn. I save some money from my full-time job. I find that when you save money, you start to build up on this money, and over time, like for example 6 months, you'll look at your savings, you'll be like, oh my, I had all that money that I wouldn't have been able to tell if I would have used it or not if I didn't put it in my savings. Well, at least that's how I view it when I save money. Like, so it's almost like extra money there that you didn't know that you left specifically for savings. So start saving up. Start saving from a small number, like 1 to 10%, as the author George mentions. Obviously, this is George's advice, and he's probably consulted financial people, so it's worth thinking about. Now, work hard to improve your skills and ensure a future income, because wealth is the result of a reliable income source. You cannot arrive at the fullest measure of success until you crush the spirit of procrastination within you. Yes, yes, yes. I've talked about procrastination quite often, and I know there's a few more videos that I will be talking about it because it's in relation to the things that I discuss. So make sure to focus on cracking down, identifying what things you procrastinate on, and trying to actually beat procrastination, because it is beatable. If you believe it and you use the right methods, you can overcome procrastination when it hits you. Now, the author uses 7 steps, which is, believe it or not, was the one thing I remembered about the book before I go into the insight I did. It was the only thing I remembered pretty much about the book. Now, here are the seven rules. Start thy purse to fattening. Now we have the classical English and then the translation to what we understand. Now, start thy purse to fattening means save money somehow. How? Control thy expenditures. Don't spend more than you need. Again, identifying what is the things that I need and require versus what are the things that I want and desire. Make thy gold multiply. Invest wisely. So make the correct investments. Think about it, consult with some people that you know, and make those decisions. Guard thy treasures from loss. Avoid investments that sound too good to be true. And me having that experience in that trading environment where that's behind me now, but there was so much too good to be trues. And what do they call it now? They call it get rich quick schemes. That they trick you. They really do make you believe that you could get rich quick. But avoid the things that sound too good to be true, because most of the times they are a scam and they are a lie. Make of thy dwelling a profitable investment. Own your home. Ensure a future income. Protect yourself with life insurance. Improve thy ability to earn. Strive to become wiser and more knowledgeable. Invest in learning and growth. Money is plentiful for those who understand the simple laws of making money. Babylon was the wealthiest city in the world at the time of its height because its people appreciated the value of money. So clearly what they valued, it turned out to be what they had the most of. So, when you start to focus in on what you value and understand it, you can actually make that difference. You must constantly have an income that keeps your purse full. So that the goal here is that the author George, he doesn't go through the approach of, oh, you must think it and you'll get it, but he goes through the actual, you need something that makes you money. No matter how much you love it, it needs to make you something. It costs nothing to ask wise advice from a good friend. This is a very, very important concept to understand. And an example of it would be, or something similar to, is the answer is always no if you don't ask. If you don't ask, you won't even get an answer. So in that same sense, to even push that idea forward even more, it doesn't cost you anything to ask for some advice. It doesn't cost you anything. If you tell me it costs your pride and your ego, you need to put that in check. It shouldn't cost you a dime to ask advice from a friend or from a family or from someone, any person. Like, you don't need to pay me, but I'm not worthy of advice, but you don't need to pay me. And hopefully I don't need to pay you, because if I do, I need to check your certificate. So yeah, it doesn't cost anything to get advice. And the second thing I would add on to that is that the answer is always no if you don't ask. So start asking. Put your pride and ego to the side and actually look for seek the benefit for yourself. It's simple to say, but many people never achieve a serious measure of wealth because they never seek it. You never put in the effort to get that thing that you want, and then you would ask, how am I supposed to get this? Why am I not able to achieve this? Well, that's because you never really put 100% effort in. You never used all your time and resources to get these things that you want to achieve. So are you really is it really in line with what you want to achieve? That's what you need to ask. Is the goal something you want to achieve? If it's no, then you need to reassess the goal. If it is still something you want to achieve after assessing it, then there's something wrong with how you're working towards it. They never truly seek it. Focus on it and commit to it. Youth often assumes incorrectly that the old and wise only have wisdom about days gone by. So yeah, even I've gone through this myself of thinking, that old man there, he don't know nothing about today's world. He just knows about 4 years ago. But that's a wrong assumption. You haven't spoken to him yet or her yet to find out. They may know more things about you than probably they do, more things about how the world works now because of their experience in the past world. Not the past world, but 20, 30 years back. Do not take advice on finance from a bricklayer. Now, I read this and understood that I worked with bricklayers before, and the whole concept of this, not asking for finance advice from a bricklayer, is the same as saying you don't go to a doctor and you ask him how to do a civil engineering project. You try your best to find someone in that field that you're looking to ask questions about to give you answers, because they will give more qualified answers about certain things. For example, when it comes to Islam, and I'm Muslim, you don't just go ask any person about Islam and just, about matters that are of high importance. And, when it comes to like your faith in Allah, your faith in the prophets, when it comes to those sort of things, and Aqidah and etc., you try find someone has a qualification, if he's a scholar, etc. Same way with a doctor. You won't ask any person about prescriptions and I don't really want to keep going on this because I feel I'm just talking myself out too much. But don't take advice on financial matters from a bricklayer or from really any person that isn't not really knowledgeable in finance. Go to people who are experts in a particular subject if you want expert advice. The key is expert advice. So if you really want finance when it comes to your account, investments, etc., look for someone who's has expertise in that section. it's too easy for amateurs to give out advice. And maybe I fall into this category of this whole channel being that. And you let me know. Build for yourself a mountain of gold first. Then you can enjoy as many banquets as you wish without worry. Don't spend your money as soon as you earn it. Surround yourself with people who are familiar with money, who work with it each day and who make lots of it. So the concept of who you assess someone's friend group and you find out who that person is, who you're assessing. So if you look at me, if you assess my group of 5 to 10 friends, you'll start to understand what kind of person I am, because we are people that fall into packs and we like to imitate and follow what our pack do, because that's the kind of humans that we are, really. And you see it through the societies. You know, people follow the rules of society. People pick up the customs. People pick up what's the cultural thing, what's the cultural norms, etc. All of those things. So if you assess someone's really close friend group, you'll start to pick up what kind of things they also believe in, what kind of things they do, etc., etc., etc. Where was that? Enjoy life while you are here. Do not overstrain to save. So it comes with the idea of don't spend so much of your life saving, because you don't leave much for the rest of your life for spending. Because even if you're saving and you make the excuse, I'm saving for my kids, I'm saving for my grandchildren, well, give them some of the money. Why are you still saving? It's for them, right? The concept is that you should start to actually use that money that you're saving, because the money isn't just supposed to be saved, because at some point you're going to die. The people that you're saving for are going to die. So think about it in that way. Your time is limited. Maybe your money isn't limited, but it is. But let's say, for example, it isn't limited. You have millions and millions that you're saving. Your time and those people's times that you're saving for are limited. And you don't know how much it's limited by. You can die 100 years from now. You can die 50 years from now. You can die 24 hours from now. Well, who knows? Hopefully not. But you can die in the next 60 seconds. So consider life as not something guaranteed, because it's 100% not guaranteed. You will never live forever. What each person calls their necessary expenses will always grow to match your income unless you resist the urge. Don't confuse your necessary expenses with your desires. And I had seen the great example of that's many financial experts, gurus have given about the example of the rat race. And an example of the rat race will be someone who gets a salary of, let's just throw random numbers. He gets a salary of 50,000 a year, and he pays for his house, the mortgage, he pays for his car, he pays for the shopping, pays for his wife's stuff, his children's stuff. Now let's say next year he gets a salary increase by 50,000. Somehow he got a massive promotion, and now he's in a managerial position, and now he's getting £100,000 a year, yearly salary. He increases his expenses along with his salary. So the salary's increased, which is good, but he moved house now to a more expensive house, so the mortgage has gone up. He's bought a nicer car. The price has gone up too. He's paid for more expensive shopping for food and clothing, etc. So that's gone up now. His wife wants more stuff. She wants more shopping. She wants more purses, etc. Anything, all of those things. Housing stuff. The kids want more expensive toys. They want the new PS5. They want the new this and the new that. And you start to realize that this whole promotion and this whole boost of money that you're so happy about, you've really not made much of a difference, other than you're living nicer, but you've really not made much of a difference in how much you could potentially be saving, because you've risen up your expenses with your income. And that's the whole thing about, the rat race, or I'm just gonna have to keep working until the rest of my life. It's because you've matched your expenses with your income. And this is not coming from me, Sammy Chance, this person who's just some random black guy in England, in a random place in the world. This is coming from people that have a lot of experience in life, and a lot of knowledge, and they've talked to in many groups and figured out the patterns of humans, and this is the kind of conclusions they come to. So you should definitely consider some truth to it. Increase your ability to earn. Improve your skills. As you perfect your craft, your ability to earn more increases. So seeking an increase in your skills is what makes the difference and is what helps you earn more. If you take your eyes off of the income and focus your eyes on the skills, which I'm not really sure this is the intended meaning behind it, but I'll just go with this. But if you take your focus from the income to the skill set, you can actually see areas to improve on. And once you improve your skill set and grow on that, the opportunities for more income grows with that. The more we know, the more we may earn. The person who seeks to know more of their craft is capable of earning more. This adds on to what I just said. Protect yourself with insurance. You cannot afford to be unprotected. Now, I'm too young to really even be thinking about this or even speaking on the matter, so refer to George's book. He probably goes into extensive about it, and there's hundreds of thousands and millions of people that have gone over this, so refer to those videos. Do not live beyond your means. So let's say the concept of the rat race I mentioned, and increases your expenses with your income. You have the people that go beyond that and start to increase their expenses more than their income. So they start racing behind their expenses. So now they're going to fall into debt eventually, fall into problems, have to work overtime, pick up a second job, etc. Get the wife to work, get the kids to work when they're only 5 years old, and those kind of things. So yeah, try not to live beyond your means. If anything, try to live below your means and see if you can live that kind of lifestyle. No man respects himself if he does not repay his debts. And this is a very, very important concept in Islam, about paying back your debts if you can. And I agree with the importance of paying your debts. The soul of a free man looks at the world as a series of problems to be solved. Meanwhile, the soul of a slave whines, "What can I do?" Now, I'm gonna be honest. When I read this before I started this recording, I was smiling. I was grinning from ear to ear. You know why? I've mentioned this concept that Robert Kiyosaki brought to my eyes about the rich mind versus the poor mind, the questioner versus the person who makes statements, and how much of a difference sentences can make in your life. How forming sentences can lead to bigger decisions you make and bigger thought patterns that you have. And this kind of puts it in a perfect way for me to have evidence for this whole idea. So the first sentence of this is referring to the person who is rich-minded, the soul of the free man. He looks at the world as a series of problems to be solved. He looks at the world, let me just expand on it in my own way, not in the way George does, but in my own way. He looks at the world as a field of questions and a field of potential answers and more conversations to be had about how to fix problems. Now, the second sentence is the poor person. Well, not, you know what I mean about poor, mentally, in his mentality about life, his fixed mindset, while the rich person has a growth mindset. Meanwhile, the soul of a slave whines, "What can I do?" And I would even take away that question of what can I do, even though I know what George means by it. He means that the person is at such a low point mentally that they even question their ability and anything they can even do. But I'll take that question away. They would say, "I can do nothing." That's what the fixed-minded person would say. That's what the poor-minded person would say, or the soul of a slave would say. They would say, "I can't do anything. Stop talking to me. I can't make any improvement in my life now. It's over for me." I highlight it because you don't tend to look at this kind of these small sentences and thinking patterns. You just tend to look at the big thing and then be so amused of how this tree can grow so big, but we don't look at the root. When you look at the seed that you planted this tree with, you'll think of it as such a minuscule thing. You think, oh, this is such a small, this seed here, how can this grow to become such a problem? It cannot be this. But in many cases, it is a small thing. So if it isn't that, at least you took a look at. Take a look at, because it's a great deal of many problems that we face in our day-to-day lives. Where the determination is, a way can be found. So be determined, and be someone who's determined about your opportunities. Be someone who's resilient. Be someone who is persistent and dedicated to your cause, to what you believe that you should be achieving. Or even if you're working towards something that will help you achieve your goal, even if you don't want to work towards it as much as you would do something else, if you stay determined, you will find a way. And having that mindset helps you so much in not giving up and keeping it going. And if that's what you want to have, that sentence is a great sentence in itself. Just affirm that sentence to yourself every single opportunity that you can, if you feel like you're hitting low points. Stick with the plan. Money accrues surprisingly quickly, and debts are gone fast with discipline and consistency. So discipline, consistency, I've talked over these two concepts, very essential to growing as an individual. It's so important. So I don't think much more can be said. This is a great insight, I believe. I think George wrote a great book. I think we've covered quite some great points, and thank you for watching.